Hello everybody, welcome into the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series presented by the Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists here at the Tricky Triangle tonight. We got a fun one here at Pocono Raceway and we thank you for tuning in with us. Let's get right down to it. Let's get down trackside and get started with your race info. We already talked about the track, but we're going to be talking about it a lot tonight because it certainly lives up to its name, the Tricky Triangle. Turn 1, completely different from Turn 2, which is completely different from Turn 3. Heavy banking through 1. And actually, I should say only those 3 turns, of course. No turn 4 here at Pocono, but through 1, heavy banking, still heavy braking after that long straightaway down the second. The back straightaway to the tunnel turn, pretty fast turn. I think we might see a little bit of 2 wide. You're certainly not going to see 3 wide. Very, very tight off the corner through 2. And then turn 3, very flat, but it feels like you can carry quite a bit of speed. And I think that's where we're going to see guys set themselves up to get a heavy draft down that long front stretch, longest in all of NASCAR. Set themselves up nicely for 1 and 2. Weather outside, 76 degrees Fahrenheit. 52% humidity, cloudy skies, and wind's going to be at 8 miles an hour. It's the Pocono 200 here in the Fast Track Cup Series. 80 laps here tonight. Everybody's going to have 100% fuel, 3 sets of tires, no fast repairs as always. It is open setups, and of course, there will be 3 green-white checkers if we are going to need them. Pocono, 2.5 miles in length, and track temp tonight going to be 91 degrees. Looking at your starting grid here tonight, how about Brian Curry for Team Watson Racing? He's going to take the pole, gets himself back out in front, trying to work off a win that he has earlier this season. Sean Kaltenbach going to be starting in second. His teammate, Brandon Bike, in third. Cody Richardson, fourth. Austin Fitzgerald in fifth. Matthew Cox in sixth. Going to be Jeffrey Souza in seventh. Tyler Marble, eighth, with Adrian Watts and Joshua Watson rounding out your top 10. 11th is going to be Andrew Kotska. Kyle Oakley will start in 12th. Jeff Marble, 13th. Scott Glasso in 14th. How about Jeff Shutt, Jacob Musso making up row 8 with Bill Benedict, Danny Gutierrez making up row 9, Tracy Powers, Alan Pajari round out your top 20, Brian Watson 21st with Brandon Ishkanen, and I do apologize, I know Jeff told me how to pronounce the last name beforehand, and here we are still struggling with it. Brandon's going to be starting in 22nd, Scott Naisland 23rd, Todd Shiro 24th, Ryan Haynes, Cody Matthews row 13, Glenn Grigsby and Thomas O'Hara row 14, Brian Conklin, 29th. Brett Spod rounding out your top 30. Richard Elliott, the new Ghost Scheme, in 31st. Johnny McCulchuk, 32nd. Ryan Shiro, 33rd. Jared Bundy, 34th. And Christopher Hall and Cody Colley making our turn tonight. Going to be rounding out your field in 35th and 36th position. Working our way into turn 3, and normally we would say out of turn 4, but of course that's not going to be the case here tonight at Pocono. No turn 4, but what there is going to be is a lot of separation, a lot of 3, 4, maybe 5 wide down this front straightaway, and it's all going to start here. Here we go into the restart zone for the first time tonight. Green flag is in the air for the Pocono 200. Good initial start. Everybody's going to dive it down into turn 1 for the first time side by side. This is where things can always get a little sketchy. You got to make sure that you hold a nice and steady wheel down into turn 1. It's a very technical turn, probably the most technical one on the circuit. Although I guess that could be argued by the fact that turn 2 is tricky in the sense of there's pretty much only one line in the sense of the fastest line. Again, I just don't know that we'll see a lot of 2 wide. Of course, you're going to see it while guys separate out, but it's not going to work that well. And if there is an option to get it sorted out, I think you're going to see guys maybe try to drop in line as soon as possible before that tunnel turn, especially on the later restarts. But up front, the 28, Brian Curry, he's looking to try to scoot away off turn 3 for the first time, and that leads us down to the long front straightaway. And this is where everybody's going to have their best chance to make a move. You got to get that big draft up to the back bumper. And you can see the 13 is able to close up. Some guys further back trying to break the draft and advance position. Just like that, 2 laps down. Going to be the second lap here down. And Brian Curry off to a good start. He's certainly looking good. Here's the 19. The new guy, the rookie, Brandon Ishkanen, currently finds himself in 23rd position. King William, Virginia, one of the Team Watson Racing drivers. In fact, they got 2 newer drivers. Of course, we can't forget about the guy who got the win last week, Matthew Cox. Doing a heck of a job. He is another one of the new Team Watson Racing drivers. He finds himself already in 5th, up a spot from where he started. The unfortunate news that we did learn before this race for Matthew Cox is that he is not going to be eligible for the playoffs. He's not going to make enough starts. So we know it's normally a win and you're in, but it's not going to be the case for Matthew Cox. Nonetheless, though, a win. Good way to help the team. Good way to help get yourself some momentum looking into next season. Show these guys that you're not here to mess around, be that much better, and maybe have a shot at the championship, of course, next season. A little bit further back, 2x2, Adrian Watts is on the move here early. He's trying to fight a couple of guys to get up to his teammate. Looking from the TV3 cam, this one here shows you the runs the outside's getting with the big draft. Austin Fitzgerald gets the advantage. He's going to try to use up Andrew Kotska here off the turn, and he does as Kotska taps the wall. And that's one of the things we're probably going to talk about a couple times here tonight is if you're on that outside line, it's a fine line. You try everything to make it stick, but as soon as it doesn't matter what you do, get out of the throttle, get on the brakes. It's really hard to avoid that outside wall. It comes up on you quick, especially off of the tunnel, actually off of every turn. We've already seen a couple of guys getting a little bit wobbly out of turn 3. The flattest turn on the whole track. You're trying to get the gas down, get some momentum going for the front stretch. And it is really easy to start spinning the back tires, lose the back end. You got to be careful. And it's a pretty long race. But I think everybody's going to start to separate out. The draft is going to keep everybody in check probably for at least the first 10 to 15 laps, I would think. And then it starts to come down to a matter of how good is everybody's setups, who feels like they have the best setup. And that is going to pan the question from there. We do have quite a few onboard cams here tonight. We're going to try to get to everybody at some point or another. Brandon Bike, though, is having a heck of a run, not carrying one of our onboard cameras. Somebody that is, though, one of the newer guys that's carrying it tonight, that's going to be Tyler Marble. He currently sits in 6th position. Take a ride on board with the 48. Get to him here in just a second. And it looks like we're going to have to go ahead and fix this the manual way. So while he does that, you can see Tyler Marble while we fix that, you can see Tyler Marble sitting on the back bumper, no move yet. Dirty air. Didn't have to talk about it too much in New Hampshire, but we are going to have to talk about it a lot here at Pocono. The closer you get, the more turbulent the air in front is going to be. It's going to get really hard to make a pass. You're going to heat up those front tires. So I think that's why it's going to make it so important for all these guys. When you get the run, you got to take it. You can't mess around. You can't waste any time. Got to take it while you got it, and I'm sure we'll be bringing that up a couple times when we see certain guys going for moves. Tyler Marble's looking to the inside off of 3. No move there as you see him now on the bottom right of your screen. Ooh, Matthew Cox tags the wall, and that's what we've already had happen to a couple drivers here. They're all going to stay tucked in line. Tyler Marble, Joshua Watson try to pass Tyler Marble with no luck, but on the other hand, Joshua Watson, he's going to try to make it work to the inside of the 48. Tries to work him up the track. This is where things can get a little tight. Joshua Watson giving him a lot of room, showing him a lot of respect. The only downside is that hurts the 1 car's run off of 2, and sure enough, off of 1. Man, I keep saying 2. But either way, that hurts his run, and you see he falls back, and now he's under fire from Austin Fitzgerald, who he's going to have to try to fend off here through the tunnel turn. Going back a little bit in the field, still 2x2. Alan Pajari. Couple spots here early up, 5 from where he started. He's got Danny Gutierrez pushing him. They're both looking to go by the 27 of Jeff Shutt. No excuses, racing driver Jeff Shutt, of course. He's been having quite a good turnaround for the season here. Out of the gates, maybe not the way he wanted it to go, but he has certainly been having quite a few impressive top 10, top 15, a couple top 5 during the race runs throughout the last handful of weeks or so. Here's Brian Watson, another one of our drivers carrying an onboard camera tonight. I'll tell you what, this might be the first night that we don't get a chance to go to every single driver that we have an onboard for, because we have quite a few. How about it? I think we got 9 to 10 driver camps tonight. These guys all came out to try it out. Everybody wants a little extra TV time. No harm, no foul. Brian Watson, look how smooth now. Another thing that a lot of these guys are already doing, and in fact, you can see it in some of these driver cams. How about we take a look here at Jeff Marble, and we'll go to his cockpit view for it, is shifting. Pocono is a track that has kind of been shifting in real-life NASCAR for quite a while. Of course, when they were at the H-patterns, they didn't have to do as much shifting, but with these next gens, there's a lot more opportunity for it. Guys taking full advantage. Let's go to the cockpit view here of Jeff Marble. There it is, down to 4th gear. Take a look at the dashboard, too, to show you just when he decides to go up here. Actually, we have the thing blocking us, so we'll take a look at that in just a minute. There it is. You see him hitting the paddle. The right side of your screen gets it back up to 5th, gets the heavy draft. The tunnel turn, not sure if anybody's going to downshift here. Oh, they do. Really high RPM still in 4th gear. Yeah, sure enough, Jeff Marble still downshifts through the tunnel. And then, of course, through turn 3 here, you know he's going to downshift. And there it is. Keep an eye on the speed that he's going to get up to here down the long front straightaway. Gets the big draft. He might have a shot at making a move here on Kotska if he decides to take it. 186, almost 190. Now he does hit 190 all the way down into the corner. Rev limiter at about 192 miles an hour. Boy, these guys will be in for a pretty hefty fine in terms of speeding tickets right now. Flying one of the fastest tracks that we've headed to all season long. Kind of mixes the super speedway aspects with the technical track aspects. New Hampshire, definitely not the best race to get you prepped for it. But Brian Curry has looked really good off the start so far. Brandon Bike as well. He still sits second. Sean Kaltenbach in third. Cody Richardson fourth. And Tyler Marble's going to now take that position away as he dives to the inside of the Mad Sim Racing driver. Marble's going to try to slide up. Oh, man, Cody got really tight. Looks like Kaltenbach did as well. They both almost kissed the wall. The two may have even made slight contact. But Cody was able to stay in it long enough to get the momentum and clear back. Tyler Marble give himself that spot back. These two going head-to-head down into one. Matthew Cox, Adrian Watts. Cox, ooh, almost gives him a little bumper contact there. He has to back out of it. Andrew Kotska's now going to dive to the inside. And Jeff Marble is going to go ahead and go with him. Kyle Oakley having a pretty good run just behind these two guys. Currently sitting in 14th position. And that is Jeffrey Souza in the 96. I just cannot get over how early in the run these guys are all slipping and sliding. Wind wasn't too high. I didn't think it would affect these guys too much. And track temp was pretty cool, all things considered. So that just tells you how much of a handful the cars are being in general right now. Just look with Brian Curry leading the way. Doesn't choose to break up the draft. I think later in the race, if we see a late run and guys really don't want that draft to be utilized, you will see them go potentially all the way down to the checkered flag logos on the front stretch. Trying to make that guy that's following in the wake behind him work extra hard if they want to keep it. But Curry looks really comfortable right now. Watched him through one there. He looked really solid. Maybe just slight contact with the wall right there. But watch him through two. Looks just as good. Now what I am hearing is some tire slide. You can hear those tires really struggling for grip, and he's got to be careful with that. You start to slide those front tires too much, and although he's got clean air, he still will get him heated up more than he would like, and that could allow Brandon Bike to potentially catch up. Only 11 laps in so far, make it 12. And your top three have pretty much stayed the same for the most part. A couple things here and there changing, but when they're really going to change is once we reach the pit stop. And courtesy of Johnny Mikulchuk, looking like 30 to 38 laps is the general fuel window. Guess depending on how long these guys can go. I'm thinking it's going to be maybe a little bit closer to the 38 side. So we're still probably a good 20 to 25 laps away or so from the fuel window. But 2x2 through the tunnel turn here for 2 rows deep. Did not expect to see this. These guys proving me wrong. Just when you think that the tunnel turn was going to be one of those turns that you really can't pass, the best you can do is set yourself up for turn 3. It is proven wrong here early, and Joshua Watson sends it in. Looking for 2, not going to get it, tries to get 1, but Cody Richardson staying in the gas on the outside. He is going to keep it. Austin Fitzgerald choosing to stick with Cody Richardson. There's Brandon Bike, and it looks like did Brian Curry either get loose or he might be starting to break the draft. You see a lot of guys doing it the further back we go. There's Brian Watson in 21st position, kind of on an island by himself right now. Sean Kaltenbach, didn't see him last week. In fact, missed him for a little bit here. He's been on a little bit of maybe a cold streak, I guess would be the word, since that hot streak that he got on. He does have 2 wins this season working for him. Has himself well into that playoff picture, of course. As long as you are one of the regulars, it's pretty much a win in your end kind of deal. You got to have, I believe it was a minimum of 25 starts, or no, maybe more starts. Whatever the starts was, you have to also finish a certain position in points, and then if you have the win, then it would be a win in your end. Cody Richardson, man, he is really playing with fire. You can see he almost got up into that wall. Actually, that was his teammate, Andrew Kotska. That was not Cody. Scott Glasso staying behind him, but Matthew Cox and Jeffrey Souza both looking to the inside. Alan Pajari, he is really starting to make his way through the field, up 6 from where he started. One of your biggest movers Second biggest mover is, of course, Tyler Marble. He is now taking that podium position away from Sean Kaltenbach. But Sean does have those 2 wins, as I was mentioning just a moment ago, at Kansas and Talladega. But they look really fast so far here tonight. Team Watson Racing in general, that is. They have 3 of their drivers running inside the top 5. Matthew Cox, of course, coming off that win last week. So you know they have the confidence. They've got the setups to do it. The question is, can they execute? And Joshua Watson, of course, we're going to be keeping an eye on him. He had a couple of struggles last week, and nonetheless still found a way. Hey, no surprise there, but Austin Fitzgerald just behind him in 6th. Cody Richardson 7th. Adrian Watts 8th. Jeff Marble 9th. And Matthew Cox, we just talked about, rounding out your top 10. Playoffs are starting to close in for all these guys. And that playoff picture starts to put more and more pressure on every single driver in here. It's almost like a reset of the season. In a sense, the aggression level is going to change. Desperation is going to change. But what's not going to change is the great racing that has been provided by the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series the whole season so far. And we still have to head to a couple of super speedways, and the reason I bring that up is because the super speedway races have been nothing less than chaotic and amazing in the ones that we've seen so far. Starting the season off with Daytona, Danny Gutierrez got a win there. Since then, Danny has been on a struggle. The races where he's been really good has had bad luck. But the top 3, those are the guys that we're going to be talking about here tonight, at least for now, because they are all under a blanket, separated by less than a second. And I thought by this point in the run, the draft would start to kind of fade out a little bit. And in the sense of whoever had the freshest tires and the cleanest air would start to pull away, which Brian Curry is still holding the lead by about a half a car length or so. But that draft that they get down the front stretch and both back straightaways is just making it so hard for Brian Curry to really pull any bit of a gap. But the 13 of Brandon Bike is going to jump to the outside. Curry's going to throw a little bit of a defensive move here down into 3. Tyler Marble's going to watch these 2, and if he gets a run, he's going to have a choice to make here down the straightaway. Brandon's trying to hang on to the outside. He's got the momentum, and he does make it work. He is going to make that pass clean and clear. Doesn't even need a push, just like that. Tyler Marble's trying to jump to the outside as well. Looks like Brian's going to leave it open for him. And I thought Brandon had been using up his stuff a pretty good amount, but apparently not, because he finds himself in the lead. Now he's got clean air. We'll see what he can do out in front. And on the opposite side of that spectrum, you got to ask Brian Curry, now not in clean air, does he start to maybe struggle a little bit here, or can he regroup? Top 6 are all pulled away from just about the rest of the field. They're all, I said top 3, but in fact all top 6 are within less than a second of each other. After that, you're going to have to go back 2 seconds to find the next closest running car, which is Cody Richardson right now. Joshua Watson, now he is up to the top 4, looking to maybe get into the top 3 here in just a moment. Tyler going to try that slide job move. The best place to do it is in turn 3. Joshua Watson tries to go with him, can't do it. Has to tuck back down in line. And man, had to go muted there for just a second. Had some things going on in the background, but that was a close call there. For a couple guys through 1, they got really, really loose. Everybody got it sorted out, got back into the tunnel turn clean. Jacob Musso, Danny Gutierrez just in front of him. There's Scott Naslin in the 22. Jeff Shutt in the 27 on the outside, but looking very racy so far tonight. Multiple lanes working here at Pocono, inside, outside. In almost every turn, guys have been able to make it work. Turn 3, though, the outside seems to be favored. Tyler Marble now up to 2nd. Joshua Watson up to 3rd as Brian Curry continues to fade here. Ooh, Curry got really loose off of 1. Almost made some contact with Joshua Watson. Luckily, they were far enough apart. Curry had time to save it. Fitzgerald's going to stick up top with the 28, push him by. And now Joshua Watson's going to have to fall behind the 74. Sean Kaltenbach catching up back to the draft. He lost few positions. Cody Richardson sits about 2 seconds back, continuing to fade. Jeff Marble, we know he likes the long runs, but that's a lot of time to make up at a track this big. Adrian Watts got really deep into the braking zone. You see Jeff able to roll the middle a little bit better. But I think Luce, which is what we're seeing a lot of guys fight right now, Luce is fast, right? And so far tonight at Pocono, the best handling cars have looked a little loose at at least one point or another. The only guy that I haven't seen loose is probably this 13. Maybe, no, the 28 even got loose here as of recent, but the 13 of Brandon Bike just continuing to impress so far here tonight. Kind of stayed in the foot tracks, if you will, the footprints of Brian Curry for about the first 15 laps. All of a sudden, 20 laps in, well, 15 laps in, I guess. Now that we're on lap 20, he finds himself leading. He's been leading for the last 3 to 5 laps. But now Tyler Marble's going to heat up his bumper. One of the road course specialists of the series got the win at Sonoma. You know, he's looking forward when we head to Watkins Glen later this season. How about a win at the Tricky Triangle? Oh, that's a big moment and another big slide. The 13, Brandon Bike kept the cast down, made it really difficult for Tyler Marble to make that move work, and he had got really, really loose on the inside. Further back, there's a block on Jacob Musso. Somebody tries to take him. That was Jeff Shutt. Tried to take him all the way down to the checkered flag apron. And Jacob Musso was having none of it. We're going to go ahead and go 3 wide. No, Jacob's going to back out of it. Wise decision from one of the veterans here. Doesn't want to cost anybody anything here too early. 21 laps of 80 completed here at Pocono. Pit stops expected to come up here in probably about 16 laps or so. Battle up front is still intense. We will cover it as soon as we come back from a quick side-by-side break. Stick with us. Back live here at the Tricky Triangle Pocono Raceway with the Pocono 200 and the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. Well, you saw it all when we were side by side. A little bit of a slip up from Brandon Bike, and that is all Tyler Marble needed to assume the lead. Joshua Watson now moves up to second as well, and those two leaders had a fierce battle for about half a lap or so. Tyler Marble was able to win that battle. Ooh, Brandon Bike really slipped up on entry there, gets in way too high. He's going to try to arc it down. Maybe this works out, but it seems like each time that we see whichever car looks the fastest, and it's been leading the last handful of laps or so, start to pull away, they make a mistake, start to struggle, and then once they fall back out of the lead, it seems like they look like they're just trying to overdo it, and that's what it looked like a little bit for Brian Curry. Looked a little bit like that the last couple turns for Brandon Bike, but he is starting to rebound a little bit. Joshua Watson on the back bumper of Tyler Marble. You know he wants to make this move happen as soon as possible. There he is on the bottom left of your screen. Let's see if we can get both of these guys up at the same time here. Sure enough, but I don't really like the way it looks. So we're going to stick with Joshua Watson. He's got the triple monitor set up. And he is working right now, trying to find a way to get around Tyler Marble. He's going to get a little bit of an arrow push here from the 13. Does he think about diving down into one? No, he doesn't. Right now, he is just playing a game of patience, trying to make Tyler make a mistake. But he has not given him any room to breathe, as it looks like they're going to be coming up on Andrew Kotska. And Oh, yellow flag is out. Oh, we got one spun here. That is going to be Andrew Kotska. What has happened here to the man who had been running good for so long tonight? Yeah, he went straight to the pits, too. Scott Nason was in. I wonder if he had just came out of pit road. First caution of the night. Just as we were potentially about to see a change for the lead. Let's go take a look at what happens here. Again, this was Andrew Kotska. He might have been coming out of the pits. Seemed, in my opinion, at least a little bit early for the pit stops, but it may have been strategy for later in the going. But let's back this all the way up here and see if that was indeed what it was. Sure enough, coming out of the pits, you got cold tires. And that is an abrupt apron, but he seems okay here. Gets through the turn, just starts to get loose and trying to save it as a little correction. Oh man, that is a big shot to the front bumper. He comes back up on track. Thankfully, everybody else was able to slip by unscathed. But that was a hard hit. That is going to end Andrew Kotska's night. Even if he is able to find a way back out on track, he's not going to have much speed at all. Let's take a look from the cockpit view. Yeah, he's just fighting the wheel here, probably from about the center of the corner all the way on exit. Gets it straight for just a split second, but he was worried he might have overcorrected it. I think saw the field coming, so he just went ahead and gave it a little bit more of a left. Unfortunately, that wall comes up quick here at Pocono as well. And that's a tough break for Andrew Kotska that brings out our first caution here. And it's going to bring everybody who didn't pit yet down to the pits. 26 of 80 laps completed, so now it's probably going to be just a one stop from here, one green flag stop that is. We will see. Let's see if we can bring somebody up here for an interview. Joshua Watson looks like he's a little busy right now from what we see, so we're going to go ahead and leave him alone for just a moment. But how about Tyler Marble? He's leading the way. He's under a lot of pressure. Let's see if we can get a quick word with him here. Hey Tyler, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Why don't I make sure I make my...
All right, and we'll give him just a second here. But I'll tell you what, if you don't think these guys are giving every ounce of effort they got, it's not games. If they take any focus off of what they got going on right now, it just takes a slight mistake. Even missing your pit box under caution can cost you some track position. Tyler Marble not one to risk that. He knows he's got a pretty fast setup here tonight. Finds himself out in front. And once he comes out of the pits here and gets rolling, we'll see if we can get another word with him. All right, sounds like he's ready to go. Well, Tyler, the car is looking fast so far, but man, the battle between you and Joshua Watson was getting intense, was starting to heat up. How are you feeling about it?
Pace pretty even. Just gotta make sure I hit my marks. I mean, this place is called the Tricky Triangle for a reason. You gotta hit your marks every single corner, every single lap. Especially with the draft and just all those pretty things with shifting. It's just, you gotta make sure you hit your marks, you'll be just fine. Problem with being the leader is everybody's gonna gang up on you, and if you make just the slightest slide off of corner, it can cost you and they can gang up on you, and you'll be going from like first to third. So yeah, fast car. I like how it felt there, and no changes, and see what we got here the rest of the race.
Let's talk a split second about the general racing that we've seen overall at Pocono here tonight. A lot more grooves than I expected to be working here. We've seen the outside and turn 3 working really well. The tunnel turn, we've seen quite a bit of 2 wide. Man, what makes Pocono so racy?
Like I said, the grooves, and then I think what helps is this is open setups, so some cars might be better up on the top. Yeah, you're gonna go wherever you feel like it. So wherever it's gonna stick the best. So yeah, racetrack. I like it.
All right. Well, looks like you're gonna have a front row seat for this restart here. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Tyler Marble for Team Marble iRacing, of course, has himself a couple wins on the season. One pretty recent. We'll see if he can add another one here tonight. Looks like Richard Elliott joined in the driver cams. He was one of our drivers that was trying to carry one. I think he might have had some issues, but he finds himself in here now. And, of course, we're going to have to show Richard some love here. Not only because he's one of the guys running the Ghost Racing Network paint scheme, but also because he's one of the guys using our driver cams tonight. Again, we had like 9 to 12 guys using driver cams here tonight. So we may not get through them all. We're certainly trying. We split them up as things go on, but there's a look at Richard Elliott. Take a look from the rear. Chase cam's got the Ghost Racing Network logo big and bold on the front. Purple paint scheme. That is a good looking scheme for Richard Elliott. Currently finds himself in 35th position, so he's still got a lot of work ahead of him, but he's got plenty of time to make it back up. We'll see what he can do the rest of the way. Pace car working down the second back straightaway, if you will, into turn 3, and then we're going to be going back green with 28 laps completed, going green on lap 29 of 80. So we are still not halfway. In fact, going to be 12 laps from it when we do take the green this time. Tyler Marble says he feels like him and Joshua Watson are pretty even. The question going to be, though, can he hold him off? Here we go. Pace car pulls off, takes the hard left turn. Tyler Marble, Scott Naslin. Green flag is back in the air here at Pocono. Everybody keeping it nice and clean, but you see they get a little bit more spread out towards the back of the pack this time. Everybody shuffling for position, going to stay 2 by 2 down into turn 1. Marble's going to try to slide up in front of Naslin. Naslin cuts him a big break, but that allows Joshua Watson to get to the inside. That looked like a mess. Did everybody hold it together? Oh, somehow, some way they did. Things are starting to get really chaotic here on only the first restart of the night. And Tyler Marble and Joshua Watson, they're going to stay 2 by 2, but now Marble is going to have to concede the position. And just like that, Joshua Watson, he is your new leader here at Pocono, 29 laps in. Sean Kaltenbach trying to work to the inside. Ooh, the 13 of Brandon Bike. He almost got up into the outside wall. Blends back down as they are 3 wide. Jeff Marble in the middle between Adrian Watson and Brandon Bike. Now they're going to go 4 wide. One of the few luxuries that we get to see here in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. We got to see it here tonight at Pocono. They're quickly going to figure that back out before they get to turn 1. They want no part of it. Cody Richardson looking to get behind Alan Pajari, setting himself up. Jeff Marble looks a little tight. 3 wide off of 1 for Adrian Watts, Brian Curry, and Austin Fitzgerald. These guys looking a lot more racy than what we saw in the early going, and that tells me they feel like track position is the most important thing here tonight. 3 wide and tunnel turn, it's not going to work. Jeff Marble is going to scrape the wall. He's able to save it there all over the place. Oh, that's not going to work. Looks like Jeffrey Souza loses it. He does. Cody Richardson, contact. Looks like Ryan Haynes is involved. I think Kyle Oakley is driving out of it. And you could see that shaping up from the start of the tunnel turn, and it just didn't finally happen until the back straightaway down to turn 3. Second caution here of the night. And that was an aggressive restart. It kept getting more and more aggressive, but let's watch where this is going to start. This starts all the way with the move here. 2 wide has been working, relatively decent here tonight, all things considered, into the tunnel turn. But what's not going to work is 3 wide. Top of your screen, Brian Curry, Adrian Watts, Jeff Marble. They're going to try to make this happen, but Adrian Watts, Brian Curry get together on entry. They're going to slide up into Jeff Marble. Jeff just absolutely nowhere to go here. He's already out of the gas, doing everything he can to keep it out of the wall, but he's still going to scrape it. Comes back down. That causes Austin Fitzgerald to go down. And Jeffrey Souza makes some contact with Cody Richardson. They get mixed up. Oakley tags the inside wall. There's Ryan Haynes sliding in. Overall, the damage I don't think was too bad. But a wreck that collects 3 cars, and those 3 cars are going to have to make back all the traction that they've been working all night to gain. And Cody Richardson, in fact, all 3 of those guys, Cody Richardson, Jeffrey Souza, and Kyle Oakley, had all been having a pretty good run going. Ryan Haynes was trying to work his way through the field. But sometimes when you're back in traffic, this is what you run the risk of. Nobody with any hits that were too hard. I think Kyle Oakley probably got the worst of it. Let's ride on board here, though, real quick with Jeff Marble as he had gotten pushed up the track. And I'm sure if we could rewind his driver cam, he wouldn't look too happy during that move. Watch this. They're going to enter 2, and he's just got pretty much no shot. And I'm not sure if he knows they're 3 wide or not at this point, but it's too late to back out. does a good job of keeping the damage minimal. Again, just a scrape. Don't think that's going to affect him at all. He'll still have a very fast hot rod. But Joshua Watson now leading the race. Tyler Marble in second. Scott Naisland third. Sean Kaltenbach in fourth. Brandon Beacon fifth. Should be going back green. I would say probably a lap or two from now. We'll see if we get the one to go signal this next time. Moving on back to sixth, Adrian Watts. Alan Pajari in seventh. Scott Glasso eighth. Brian Curry in ninth. Austin Fitzgerald rounding out your top 10. Jeff Marble 11th. Danny Gutierrez in 12th. Tracy Powers in 13th. Jeff Shutt 14th. Jared Bundy in 15th. Ryan Haynes in 16th. Going to be Johnny McCulchuk in 17th. Cody Colley in 18th. Matthew Cox in 19th. Jacob Musso in 20th. Bill Benedict 21st. Brian Conklin 22nd. Cody Matthews 23rd. Thomas O'Hara 24th. Christopher Hall 25th. Brett Spod 26th. Richard Elliott in 27th. Brandon Ishkanen. And he is one of the drivers. Let's go ahead and stop here for just a second. Give this guy a shout out. First race here, and he is one of the drivers carrying an onboard cam for us here tonight. Got some learning to do. You know, normally I would say coming in as a rookie, it's not an easy thing to do, which it certainly isn't. But he's got a good group, Team Watson Racing, and he is now in the position that Matthew Cox was last week before he got his win. The only Team Watson Racing driver to not win a race yet, but again, it's only his first race. So we'll see what he can do here in the coming races and see how he finishes here tonight. And he is going to be another driver that's probably not going to have any shot at the playoffs. He's not going to make the minimum requirement in race starts, but a win is a win nonetheless, and it's always sweet. Glenn Grigsby going to be in 29th. Ryan Shiro in 30th. Todd Shiro 31st. Brian Watson 32nd. Moving on back, a couple guys on pit road here. Looks like Andrew Kotska still off track his night. He may have just decided to park it for the night. He had that heavy damage from the first caution. Jeffrey Souza, Kyle Oakley making their way off of pit road. And then Cody Richardson, another one of the cars involved in that wreck, going to be starting in one of the two back rows of the pack here for this restart in 33rd position. So if you're Joshua Watson, you got the lead. You got to feel like you're back in the driver's seat. You know he wants to be in this position. He's comfortable being there. We'll see what he can do with it here. Still about going to be 7 laps from halfway when we do take the green. A lot of racing left, but it's been really exciting here at Pocono. Again, coming into this race, didn't think there'd be as many grooves as there has been. And guys continue to get more and more adventurous. 3 wide, a little bit too adventurous for turn 2. But overall, the racing tonight has been phenomenal so far, and we still got plenty of it to watch. Here's Adrian Watts, the newest addition to JBR E-Racing. Been having a good season in his rookie debut so far, and he might be playoff eligible still. Might be kind of close on whether or not he can make it with enough starts. Certainly he's been having a good season, getting some decent points racked up. See what he can do the rest of the way. Austin Fitzgerald, had a chance to talk to him. He's been carrying the onboard cam a couple weeks now. And he's got one of the meanest setups you'll see as he sits side by side there. Adrian Watts and him going to be starting relatively close together, only separated by 2 rows. You see them both side by side on the bottom right there. Similar rig, similar wheel, but different driving styles has got them in different positions here so far tonight. All right. Going to be coming to the green flag this time. Row 1, Watson and Marble. Tyler lost the battle last time to Josh. Can he find a way to maybe take that position back on this restart? We'll have to find out here off of turn 3. No turn 4, so that means we are going to see the green flag as the pace car pulls off back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. And they're going to stay side by side. Tyler Marble did a great job staying even with Joshua Watson. They fan out a little bit further out back. Somebody's looking 3 wide down into turn 1. Scott Naisland slips up just a little bit. Adrian Watson, Sean Kaltenbach, both going to try to take advantage, pass him on the outside. Meanwhile, your 2 leaders are going to stay side by side down into the tunnel turn. Watson on the low end, but Marble almost got clear, couldn't quite make it happen. Nobody daring to try 3 wide into it this time. But they still stay side by side, and just like that, Tyler Marble from the outside line made it stick for a couple of turns, gets it to work, and there you go. Looks like we had a couple people in the chat that I forgot to read, so I do apologize for that. Ryan Taft says that was intense to watch from the spotter stand. That was in reference to the last restart in the general racing we had around it. You're not kidding. Look at the action we got in the back right now. 4, almost 5 wide. And they're going to all narrow it back down to 2 or 3 wide by the time we get down to 1. Kayla Mayer says, is there a stage break tonight? There is not. FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series does not do any stage breaks. These guys try to go from flag to flag. And so far I guess you could say we kind of had 2 stage breaks tonight in the sense of the 2 cautions. But what we have had is the phenomenal racing up front. Joshua Watson back to the inside. Marble seems to favor the outside so far. And if you're Sean Kaltenbach, what's your mindset here? Do you feel like, well, maybe hold that thought because he's now under fire from Adrian Watts. But I was going to say, whoever gets behind these two, do you try to push one of them? Do you think about 3 wide? It seems like most of the night, that third car has shown a lot of patience when watching the 2 leaders duke it out. But I feel like if we get late enough in this race, that has to change at some point. Chad Byram says, Bryce, no, this is Austin up in the booth tonight. But Bryce did hop in the chat. Left a little emoji sticker that you can unlock, of course, if you are in the Ghost membership program, which I think is below the channel. We'll get some plugs in for that later, but right now we're keeping all the action and all the eyes on track. Brandon Bike to the outside. His car looks really interesting. It almost looks like when it gets into the turn, the back end is like almost displaced to the right compared to the front. I don't know if he just has that thing really, really loose or what, but it seems like the setup's working pretty well. Danny Gutierrez, where did he come from? He is up 10 spots from where he started. Scott Naisland with that little bit of a strategy call, still hanging around inside your top 5. Brian Curry maybe going to make a move here down into turn 1. Austin Fitzgerald is next to the inside of Danny Gutierrez. Going on down to the pack. A little bit further down. Cody Colley. How about it? Makes a return here tonight. We saw him have some fast races. Dover, actually can't forget it because it was the race that I thought Cody was going to win. Things didn't quite work out. Cody's favor got involved in an accident late, but he's back out tonight. Haven't seen him in a couple weeks, and so far, so good. Up 19 positions from where he started, currently in 17th. But again, he's still got quite a few laps to go, as we are just going to be approaching halfway here in the next 3 laps or so. And for the most part, the field has got it single filed out. Kyle Oakley is going to have to let the 3 of Todd Shiro by. Not much he can do up front, bumper to bumper. But Joshua Watson has slipped a couple places. He might have had a little bit of an issue when we were looking through the field, and Tyler Marble has got just a little bit of breathing room now over 2nd place. Sean Kaltenbach got himself about a half a car length, but by no means can he miss a mark. He said it's the tricky triangle, and he knows he's got to be perfect, and it gets hard to do after a while, especially when you got a guy right on your bumper. If you have a little bit of room to breathe, you think to yourself, hey, if I slip up, I'm okay, I can get back in it. But when you have Sean Kaltenbach and Adrian Watts as close as they are, you know if you mess up at all, one of those two are going to take that position, and you're going to lose the clean air that your car is handling the best in. Come down the front stretch, complete lap 39 now, single file all the way through your top 20. Cody Colley rounding out the back of this first pack. We're kind of getting 2 packs here. 17th position for Cody Colley, still sitting there, and then leading the second pack right now is going to be Johnny Mikulchuk. How about it? The No Excuses Racing driver always gives us the fuel calculations expected for that week. And the other thing that he's given us this week now, well, he was at least, was an onboard camera. Looks like he may have retired from the onboard camera here. But I'll tell you what, that guy has one of the coolest rigs you'll ever see. We'll have to get it on camera here on one of these races. But he's got himself a whole, it looks like half of a, what do you call it, the K&N Modified Series? Wheel and Modified Tour, rather. And he's got himself half one of those full roll cage chassis built in. And then he's got his monitors, seat, all built into that. Is one of the coolest setups that I've seen. You can certainly go for something like that. Johnny, one of the good guys that you see out here, shows up every week, very consistent. And while he may not be the fastest, still looking for a win here this season. Like I said, the consistency is what's going to pay off. Contact between Joshua Watson and Sean Kaltenbach looked real similar to what we saw on the Sunday race between Hamlin and Larson. Kaltenbach was able to get off of him just in time. Joshua Watson does get the position. Team Watson Racing now sitting in 4th and 5th position with Scott Glasso right in tow. Danny Gutierrez and Brandon Bike just behind them. And as fast as Bike was earlier, him being stuck where he is now, just another sign of the closer you are to the front, the better your chances are. That dirty air has been very, very killer here tonight. Scott Glasso is going to bring it down to the, Scott Naslin is going to bring it down to the pits, I thought. But no, I think he just gets really loose here. Let's back this up. I saw him head down towards the pit off turn 3. Did he just get loose, or did he think about a pit? Yeah, that's an odd look for Naslin. He's really, really slow. Not sure what happened. We'll have to keep tabs on it and see what's going on. Looks like he's been able to regain some speed here as he falls behind Cody Colley. We are now officially halfway through the Pocono 200. And I think that is a good time for a little tricky triangle. Crank it up. Here we go. And that's going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope everybody did enjoy. You saw Scott Glasso in just a little bit of contact with the wall there out of turn 3 during that segment. He currently sits in 6th position. Not enough to really make him lose too much momentum, but enough to make your heart skip a beat a little bit. Think about how hard you want to run that turn next lap. But up front, the battle for the lead right now is Team Marble iRacing versus kind of a 2-on-1. You got the two JVR e-racing drivers of Adrian Watson, Joshua Watson, just continuing to put pressure on. Your top 5 all still pretty close together. Now what we are seeing a little bit more of, at least as of right now, compared to the earlier racing, is the draft is starting to fade away a little bit quicker, in the sense of these top 3 are breaking away, and that draft effect isn't working as well in the sense of keeping top 5, maybe even top 10 all up there within a second. Right now it is showing your top 5 all within a second, but the top 3 still all the battle for the lead. Anybody 6th on back is just really, really continuing to fade, and we got guys on islands. We got a couple packs here and there. Looking at the track map though, pretty good spread all the way down the back stretch. A couple stragglers. Got one entering turn 1 and one going down the front stretch. Could be a little bit of lap traffic at some point here in the last half of the race, but definitely not one of the lead concerns for any of these leaders. Here's Brian Conklin racing alongside 37. Actually, I was going to say racing alongside, but he's going to go ahead and clear Johnny McCulloch. Brian Watson gets a little too high there. He's going to have to back it off a little bit and fall a couple positions. Ooh, do we have one get loose? No, pit stops. Jeffrey Souza down to the pits. Thought maybe this is a little early here. But the 96, he's going to bring it down. Go ahead and top off on what he wants to get. There's Jared Bundy. Haven't brought him up yet tonight. Jared Bundy, I believe Ryan Taft is his spotter. And that would make sense. Because we usually see Ryan in here, gives us some insight on how Jared is doing, as well as when we see him here on the broadcast. Now it's side-by-side. Adrian Watts thought about it for a couple laps. Not sure if Tyler slipped or if Adrian was just ready to take the lead. But he's tried it out. It's not going to work. And now Joshua Watson races alongside him. Out of turn 3, the 1 is going to get the momentum. We will see the 03. Yep, sure enough, going to slam the door. Tucks in line behind the 2. Sean Kaltenbach's going to try his luck to the inside. The thing he does have going for him is that big draft. He is going to try to utilize the side draft a little bit. And actually, Tyler Marvel decides to go with him as a couple more guys further on back. Pit stop's starting to become a little bit of a trend here. And Brett Spod. Oh, he's got some damage. Was this from just now? Let's take a look. Oh, it is. So he's going to get some wheel hop here. Trying to get it woed up and just way too much speed. That's a big hit. Yeah, there's no way he was going to make the pits in time. It's a deceiving pit road. You think you got plenty of time, especially with it being on the straightaway, but you really don't. It's pretty quick after you exit turn 3. Let's take a cockpit ride here with Brett real quick. Go back to his pit entry here and watch this. Yeah, just looks like he's getting a little bit of wheel hop there. He was trying to get on the brakes, trying to keep it from spinning, but fortunately does. That's going to cost him some more time. Oh, we got another one out of control. That's Richard Elliott on back. Boy, pit road is getting a lot of them right now. Richard Elliott, he's going to have some damage to the left side now as well. Taking a look at it there. Man, left side of that thing is almost ripped off. You see it hanging by a thread. Watch this. I saw in the back of the screen, he just looked like he was coming in way too hot. Gets off a 3, and as soon as he gets off a 3, he's already checking up, and it's not enough. Yeah, and he clobbers the inside safer barrier as well. So this is probably the 3rd guy or so that's either got damaged or got caught speeding now. And as we go back live up front, Richard Elliott still sits on the pits, but up front, the battle for the lead stays as it is. And I was only really expecting one more pit stop from all these guys. According to the fuel now, I'm not sure exactly how long the tires can go. We certainly got to play that into a little bit of a factor. Again, track temp was nice and cool. It's cooled down a little bit more from where we started now at 88 degrees. So the track temp itself isn't hurting the tire wear. These guys don't have to worry about using any extra tire for a hot track. But Pocono, you got to believe, is still pretty hard on tires. The tunnel turn very fast, very abrasive. Joshua Watson, he seems to like the long runs. He is back on the bumper now of Tyler Marble. Adrian Watts has fallen a few positions, as now the 2 Team Watson Racing drivers has taken over 3rd and 4th. Winds still at 8 miles an hour, and we are now at about 3:30 sim time. Just a little bit after. So if these guys all pit, I think I would have to expect them to pit maybe as soon as that fuel window opens. And the fuel window is pretty much open now, as we have a couple more takers down the pits. And guess what? We got another incident down by the pits. Oh my goodness. Pit road has been a menace today. Now it's Scott Naisland. He's got heavy front end damage. This is the 3rd car in a row. What is going on pit road here tonight? Let's back this one up. And it looked like the same incident where it looks like he just gets in way too hot. And I'm telling you, all these guys, they're checking up as soon as they get off 3. It's just not enough. And sure enough, trying to get the brakes, maybe just lock up for a second or get some wheel hop, and that thing takes a hard left turn right into the inside safer barrier. He's got a lot of damage now from it. So as he sits on pit road, this starts to concern me a little bit for your leaders. Joshua Watson gets loose there off of turn 3. Are these guys hearing over the radio? Are they keeping tabs? Do they know what's going on? And I think I'm making sure that I'm a little bit extra careful right here when I make my entry to the pits, especially hearing about all the troubles everybody else is having so far. Tyler's starting to stretch his lead out a little bit as they're going to be working by Thomas O'Hara here in just a couple straightaways. And we've tried to show most of the guys that give us a driver cam here tonight. Still a couple guys, though, that we haven't talked about. One of those being Ryan Haynes. Pretty good night for him so far, up 10 from where he started. Finds himself in the 15th position, and you better believe it, he is one of our guys carrying an onboard cam. Most of these guys in here, I think, have 3 monitors. Ooh, Jeff Shutt, or was that Johnny McCulchuk? No, that was Johnny McCulchuk. He tagged the wall right there. Seems to be okay. You got to be careful doing that. One too many times, break a toe link, and these are very easy to do. Well, the cars themselves might be tanks. The suspension sure isn't, and it looks like Ryan Shiro further back. He's going to go ahead and decide to bring it down to the pits here as well. Assuming he didn't have any. Oh, we got another one spun, but this time it's on the front stretch. Scott Naisland again. Does this bring out the caution? It does. There's Scott Naisland, the 22 machine. And a bad night has gone to worst for the driver out of Lake Camelot, Illinois. Gets it back rolling, and oh boy, this is going to make that crazy restart we saw earlier probably look like nothing, because what I think we're going to see right here is everybody come down to the pits, and that is going to be all they think about for pit stops the rest of the way. Looking at it, I think everybody's probably already taken 1, maybe 2 sets of tires if you pit under green. So you're either taking your last set here, or you're going to have 1 set sitting over for maybe a late restart. Kyle Oakley looks like he's got some pretty heavy damage. Not sure if that was from the wreck earlier or something related to this one. But let's take a look. 3rd caution of the night. Johnny McCulchuk, some contact. 22 gets turned around the wrong direction, goes for a slide. Little driver's side tap to the inside wall before he gets back rolling, but let's see if we can get a better view on what exactly caused that contact. Was Naisland coming down, or was McCulchuk coming up a little bit? And you see Johnny looks like he's going to try to make a move here. Yeah, looks like he's going to try to make a move. And just kind of tags him in the left rear, at least what it looks like from that view, and then just it hooks him eventually. Really odd angle. I'm not sure if Johnny thought he was further down or what. Cody Matthews makes some contact, but he's able to get away. Watch this move one more time here from the chopper view. It's a really odd look. You know, when he makes the move, I understand a side drop, but he kind of just tags him in the left rear. Yeah, just a really odd look. Hangs there for a minute, and then eventually does turn the 22 around. And that is what brings out your 3rd caution. I'll take one more view of it here from TV3. Not sure. Scott's probably not too happy about it after he just got done making his way off pit road from the damage that he already had. This will give him a chance to fix some of it, but not the way you want to do it and lose all the track position that you've been working on caning. Brett Spot in the chat says it's bad, and I'm assuming he's referring to entering pit road tonight. It certainly has looked that way. I gotta be honest, it's a little fun. It was a little fun for me up here getting to watch it, seeing all the guys try to, but I know as a driver that could not have been fun. And luckily for everybody else that did not pit yet under green, they're not gonna have to worry about it. You come down here, you get yourself some fresh tires, you go back out there, and it is all about what can you produce on the track for these next, what's probably gonna be 25, probably about 25 laps to go once we indeed go green. We were just talking about the guys that we had joining us up here for driver camps tonight, and I believe that we have gotten everybody except Kyle Oakley, who we were going to get just before that caution. Kyle had some issues. Before the issues, he had been having a great run, was up inside the top 10 at a couple points, but since those issues, he now sits on pit road just trying to get it all repaired. There's Kyle in the bottom right of your screen. Tough day for him, the SWM Motorsports driver. He knows he's got better. He's been able to deliver. He's been having a great run. In fact, we were trying to talk to him last week. He was having a great run late in the race. Things did not work out this week, however. So your top 5, as it stands right now, is going to be Brandon Bike. And if I have said Beak a couple times this broadcast, I do apologize. Knew it was Bike, and yet here we are, still maybe saying it a couple times. So hopefully, if you're watching this, Brandon, no harm, no foul there. We're still working on it. So Brandon Bike and Jeffrey Souza make up row 1. Matthew Cox, Jacob Musso going to be making up row 2. Ryan Shiro and Scott Glasso row 3. And it's going to be Tyler Marble, Brian Curry making up row 4. So now things get a little interesting here. You got a little bit of newer tires versus a little bit older tires. And the guys on newer tires, they are going to be scrambling for that track position right from the jump. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we potentially see another caution here. Jacob Musso having a good run right now. Finds himself inside the top 10. In fact, inside the top 5. I'll do you one better. Let's see if we can find Jacob and get a quick interview from him. Hey Jacob, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
I sure do.
All right, got a good run going here right now. You know, I wouldn't necessarily call it a late restart yet, but we're starting to get to that part of the race. 25 to go. How do you feel about your chances of maybe getting a win here at the Tricky Triangle?
I'm feeling pretty good. I only got 2 green flag laps on my tires, so they're still pretty new, and I was putting out some good laps in the pack. It's just, it's pretty hard to pass, so if I can pass these 2 guys out front, I think I got a really good shot.
Well, it's been a good night, of course. A couple of your teammates dropped earlier in the season. How big would a win, though, here be, even though I know it's solo right now for the Musso Speed Shop?
Oh, it'd be huge. I mean, I've been trying all year, and last season was bad, and this season been even worse, so I think a win would really seal my playoff hopes and just hopefully kick some momentum going.
All right, well, you got a great shot out of here. Going to be lining up in row 2. We'll be keeping a close eye on you. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Jacob Musso for the Musso Speed Shop, boys. Tell you what, it's a great opportunity. The door is cracked. The question's going to be here, can he find a way to open it? Not going to be an easy task, and I know he brought up the point about he's only got 2 green flag laps. A lot of these guys probably do, but I think that tire wear is still going to make a pretty big difference, especially when you think about the fact that the guys that are on the newest tires are some of the most aggressive guys in the field. So we're going to have to watch all this action from TV3 and then the blimp cam once we get down to turns 1 and 2, because it is going to be crazy. Green flag is back in the air. 25 laps to go at Pocono. And already making moves. Tyler Marble looked for a block on Joshua Watson. Couldn't make it work. Watson's going to tuck back down in line. Marble's going to run the defensive route down into turn 1, 3 wide to the inside of Matthew Cox. And yellow flag is back in the air. We might have had trouble towards the back of the field. Oh, we do. We got a mess here in turn 1. That's the 19. The 07 of Thomas O'Hara, he gets spun. Cody Matthews, Scott Nason arrive on scene. Not sure what sparked this one. So let's go take a look at it. 4th caution of the night. Let's go to the blimp for it. This is getting into turn 1. This is at the back of the pack, too. All right, here, we'll see where this contact starts. Oh. Is that Bill Benedict, maybe? Or was that the 96 of Souza? I could not tell from this shot. Let's head down to TV1. So the first guy to get spun, it looked like may have been Cody Matthews. Yep, sure enough, Bill Benedict and Cody Matthews. These guys are going to get together right here, but was there a second incident? Is the next question. So we'll go back to the blimp here. And there's the contact that sends Cody Matthews around, and nope, that is it. Comes back up and almost saves it. The 19, or is that the 08? Actually, that's the 08 of Danny Gutierrez. He spins out, gets him at the outside wall. Cody Matthews gets tagged a few more times, bounced around like a ping pong ball. Take a ride on the cockpit view. Yeah, just gets, looks like he gets hooked. Not sure if he came down or if Bill Benedict was coming up. There was definitely some contact there. We'll take a look from the chopper view. And I think Cody kind of has to check up here. Bill, not sure if he was trying to get to the inside or just couldn't check up in time. Yeah, but just hits Cody in the left rear. Now watch a couple of these other guys that are going to come along and get involved. Boy, Jeff Marble just got by it on the outside. Cody initially saves it, and then comes back down to the 07, still trying to hang on. Jared Bundy with some contact. The 19 slides through the grass. And that is just going to continue, in my opinion, probably to help the guys that are on slightly older tires, if I had to guess. Gives them more time to get these tires cooled down. They don't have to worry about running those tires as many laps. And this restart now is probably going to put us somewhere around 20 laps to go. And on that note, we may be staying live the rest of the way because the action is going to be filled to the brim. So on that note, let's go ahead and take a quick side-by-side break. We'll be right back. Back live at Pocono Raceway. It's the Pocono 200 here on Ghost Racing Network. Shout out to Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists, of course, title sponsor here for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. Got a couple of no bull races coming up. Gonna be keeping tabs on those. We'll be talking about that and your points scenario here in just a little while. But first, we got to get geared up and ready for this restart. It is going to be a crazy one. 21 laps to go, and we do take the green. So if you are just tuning in, you did pick a good time to do so. Jeffrey Souza, how about it? He's got the lead. Another great opportunity for a driver to get their first win of the season right here. For pretty much everybody inside your top four, almost everybody inside your top four. Matthew Cox, of course, already has that win, got it last week. But Jeffrey Souza could get his first win here. He's going to have the clean air, but he's going to have to battle Brandon Bike again. Could get his first win, add to the Team Watson Racing drivers list of wins this season. And I forgot to mention earlier, I did it wrong in the sense of saying that the 19 Brandon, two Brandons now on Team Watson Racing. The other Brandon, though, he's not the only guy without a win for Team Watson Racing. Of course, Brandon Bike, one of those as well. Jacob Musso looking for his first win tonight. Row 2 on the inside. What can they all do? How crazy is it going to get? Green flag is back in the air. 21 laps to go at the Tricky Triangle. Everybody's off to a pretty good even jump. Joshua Watson immediately jumps to the inside of Ryan Shiro. Can they all get it sorted out before turn 1? Watson, the only car still on the inside, making it 3 wide as he is now to the inside of Tyler Marble. Has to let out of it a little bit, has to get out of it a little bit and tuck back in line. 2 by 2. We're going to take a look at the blimp cam here. Things are getting crazy, especially the further at the back of the pack you go. Old tires versus newer tires. And the newer tires, they are on a mission to the front. Look at Joshua Watson and Tyler Marble go. Just ripping through the field as it stands right now. Tyler Marble already made up the most positions out of all the new tires. Jacob Musso's trying to hold him off. He's not going to be able to do so. There's Tyler Marble jumps to the inside. Jeffrey Souza lost the lead to Brandon Bike. Brandon's going to have him run him down the straightaway, and he is going to have to try to pull away as soon as possible here because Tyler Marble in those new tires, he's got a lot of speed and he is coming. The only thing that's hurting him right now is nobody choosing to work with him down that long front straightaway. He's going to have to tuck right back in line. Joshua Watson still not able to make the pass yet on Scott Glasso. Gives it another try here down at turn 1. Brandon Bike starting to get a little bit of breathing room. Matthew Cox second. Jacob Musso took back that third position. Oh, big rack out back. Huge hits for a couple of drivers. Caution is out. Oh, man, Jeff Marble's involved in this one, and it looks like it's going to be Cody Richardson, the second victim involved. And, yeah, Jeff, the front end on both sides, pretty banged up. Brings us another caution, and sometimes this can be a trend, especially at a track that provides the racing like we've seen so far here at Pocono. Cautions breed cautions. That is starting to be the trend here late in the going for the Pocono 200. Saw these two out of the corner of your screen on live. But what's going to happen here? Let's take a look at the replay. Ooh, Cody's loose. Cody's wicked loose, and Jeff, not able to check up in time, gets into the back of him. They're both going to go for a slide. Oh, man, Jeff tried to save it. He missed that first wall, which amazes me, and it's probably for the best. That would have been a huge hit. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to avoid that second wall. Hit the indent. Take a couple more looks at this. First one I want to do with the onboard here of Jeff Marble. Didn't look like he got much time to react to this, and I don't think he did, but I think he tries to let Cody catch it. Take a listen. You know, that was a little bit of an interesting one. Watch the throttle here. So I'm going to play this slow, and then we'll play it fast so I can explain to you. Right, watch Cody's car here. So far he looks okay. Now he's loose. You see the back of the car, it's not sticking. He's loose. At this point, he is loose. He's drifting up the track. Kind of got a four-wheel slide going. Drifting, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. And at this point, Jeff is not out of the throttle. I'm not sure if maybe Jeff was focused on a car that was to his outside. That very well could have been the case. But yeah, Jeff just didn't catch him in time and just hits the back of him. Like I said, does a good job. Oh, that is a hard tank slapper to the driver's side. It's a good thing we are in virtual cars here. My goodness. And let's look at this a couple more times. One from TV1. Watch this hit. Watch the initial miss. Right there. Oh my goodness, by inches. Almost flips over just from one of the potholes that he hits. Fortunately takes a shot on the inside and not able to keep it out of that wall. We'll take one more final look at it here from the gearbox. This one might scare you a little bit if you're not ready for it. Watch how close this gets for Jeff Marble on the first hit. Oh my goodness, maybe even just scrapes it. Looks like we have some data here on Kyle Oakley as well. I think he might have just came to a stop, but let's see. Make sure nothing happened to him here. A little bit of a check up in front. Oh, a big check up in front. Big check up in... Oh, no. And that is not going to make the highlight reel. Wrecking under caution. Just a big checkup. Kyle not able to quite get checked up in time. He tries to jump to the inside of Cody Matthews, who also can't get checked up in time. And they get together, and that totaled what was a pretty good, pretty clean 10 car tonight. Kyle Oakley already had some damage. Going to give him a little bit more. There's Jeff Marble, still with most of his damage. Not sure if he's able to get any of it repaired or how damaged the suspension was on it. But Brandon Bike, I gotta think he continues to likes to continue seeing us tick off more and more laps under caution. That's less he's gonna have to run under green. That gives less of a chance for those newer tires and Joshua Watson and Tyler Marble to catch up to him. But he's still gonna have plenty laps to go, 2.5 miles. So even if we go green with, I would say here, 16 laps to go, these guys are still going to have over 40 miles worth of racing to go. So by no means is this thing going to be over here in the next 10 minutes or so. But talking about those cautions breed cautions, you still might see a couple more, and I think Brandon Bike, even Matthew Cox and Jacob Musso might be all for that. Brian Curry, Joshua Watson, Tyler Marble, they have all got the lead at one point or another here tonight. So is Brandon Bike. Scott Glasso has been up in the mix, top 10, couple top five runnings here tonight when we've been able to look at them. There's Austin Fitzgerald, Alan Pajari, and Knight. Sean Kaltenbach rounding out your top 10. Now let's see if we can get a word. And I did hear from last week we had Joshua Watson muted last week during his interview. That's no fun, and I certainly apologize for that. So we're going to go ahead and bring it back in here. No surprise that we'll get a chance to get him back in here with his starting position in 5th. I want to get a quick word on him on what's going to be the game plan here and what does he expect for the rest of the way. And we had to drag him through about 10 channels to get to him, but we're finally going to be able to bring him in here just for a quick word. Hey, Josh, this is Austin up at the booth. You got a copy?
Good.
Okay, well, we had you muted last week, so we had to bring you back in this week. You got newer tires, but with some of the late cautions here, how you feeling about a shot at the win?
It's going to be hard. Tires are a difference, but I don't think we got that much older tires, so 4 laps or so, 3-4 laps. It's just going to be about being patient and trying to work our way up through there.
All right, well, I wanted to ask you something else, but we're getting ready to go green, so I'm going to put you back down to your team. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
And we are sliding back down as it stands. JB, are you racing the farthest seam away here for the broadcast in terms of getting him up here for interviews? But he's back. He's ready to go, and so are we. Rolling up to the Geico restart zone. Could potentially be the final restart this time. Green flag is in the air. 16 laps to go at Pocono. Another good restart. Nobody fans out just yet. Like a chess game. Who's going to make the first move? Nobody does. Down into turn 1. That's something different. And we will see, is this a differing strategy from Joshua Watson, Tyler Marble? Play a little bit more patience. Matthew Cox washes up. Now Brandon Bike makes some contact. Brian Curry up into the outside wall. Everybody's going to save it as they go 4 wide, all trying to regroup. Watson's going to look to the inside. Oh, somebody's going to have to give here. 3 wide in the tunnel. That's not going to work, does it? It does, as Tyler Marble just goes ahead and backs right on out of it. Boy, say it with your chest. That was an aggressive move from Joshua Watson, but it pays off as it moves him up to the 4th position and now puts him leading that hunt for the leaders on new tires. Matthew Cox assumes the lead out of turn 3 after the mess that we had down into turn 1. 15 laps to go though. Now the back of the pack still 2 by 2 and racing pretty aggressive. But up front, single file for about the first 5 or 6 cars. And yellow flag is back in the air. Looks like Glenn Grigsby with some issues. And the 64 has looped it the wrong direction in turn 1. It looked like he has, if I had to guess here, this looks like a pretty hard hit to the outside wall. Take a look at it. Now this restart's going to put us closer to 10 to go, probably 12 or 11 to go. And it looks like Glenn's going to tuck out a line. One of the independent drivers having a good night. And that's the second time now that we've seen an incident with Bill Benedict like that. Almost mirrored of what we saw with Bill Benedict and Cody Matthews. This one a little bit more. I think Bill was a little bit further up in the sense of, let's look from the chopper view, I guess, before I say anything. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a dive bomb. You know, in some drivers' eyes, some guys it's not. Does he actually hook him though, or does Glenn come down? That was where it got a little hard to tell. It's really close. Now I'll tell you what, on these next gens, when you side draft someone, especially when you're this close, it sucks that car down. It gets them all out of whack, and I think that might be what happens here to Glenn. As close as they're running, it just sucks Glenn down a little bit, gets him into the 90, and then with the 90 being that close, it kind of hooks the 64. Comes back up the track, gets tagged, and then turned back up into that outside wall where he's going to take the brunt of this hit. Now watch the damage for the 64 on the shot. Boom. Rips the whole front end and the hood off initially. Gets it back on, but that is not going to be easily repairable with duct tape and Gorilla Glue. And these guys don't have a fast pair, so that probably is going to end Glenn Grigsby's day. Not sure if he's even got enough laps left to be able to fix it all. We'll have to see. Either way, back up front, Matthew Cox, Brandon Bike. I'm just going to keep saying it because they keep liking to hear it. 14 laps to go, but as I said when the caution flew, going to put us probably somewhere around 11 or 12 to go. Less and less laps for Joshua Watson, Tyler Marble, Brian Curry, all those guys to get back up and have a shot at the win. Things have definitely gotten a little crazy, but on this note, let's see, do we get the one to go signal this time? We don't. So yeah, it's looking like it's going to put us at an 11 to go restart. Kyle Oakley's going to get the free pass or the lucky dog, or the wave around or the lucky dog. Let's go talk about your point standings and some of the upcoming races here for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. Let's look at the playoff picture first. How about Joshua Watson leading the way? 8 wins. Think about that for a second. 8 wins. He has 4 times what any other driver has for wins total. Of course, Tyler Marble and Sean Kaltenbach tied at 2 wins apiece, but Tyler Marble is second in the playoff standings as of right now. Jeff Marble third. I guess I should say playoff picture too. Again, this is nothing official yet in the sense of this is all going to change as we continue to work up to the playoffs. What's going to matter is where you stand, though, once the regular season is over going into the playoffs. Austin Fitzgerald 4th, Cody Richardson 5th in that battle, Alan Pajari in 6th, Sean Kaltenbach going to be in 7th, Andrew Nieder 8th, Andrew Kotska 9th, and Brian Curry rounding out your top 10. The 4 guys on the bubble to keep a close eye on: Scott Glasso, Johnny McCulloch 15th and 16th, and then Brian Conklin and Jacob Musso just outside right now in 17th and 18th. But Jacob Musso, boy, would a win turn his season around right here, get himself locked into the playoffs, and not even have to worry about it. We're keeping a close eye on him. Now, your next announcements here, maybe to arguably the more exciting ones, where we head next. We'll leave that for last, the best for last. Jeff Marble is leading in the regular season points right now. Joshua Watson second, even though he's leading in playoff points. Tyler Marble sits third. Austin Fitzgerald 4th. Cody Richardson 5th. Andrew Kotska, Alan Pajari 6th and 7th. Andrew Nieder 8th. Bill Benedict and Jerry Isaacs. 2 of your more underdog dark horse picks rounding out your top 10. Looking at the upcoming schedule. Next week, we're going to head to Richmond, 200 laps. Cody Richardson got his first win of the season last time we were there. You know, he's got to be looking forward to it. And then we head to the big D-shaped oval, Michigan International Speedway. Actually, I think it's just Michigan Speedway. That is going to be a fun track, heavy drafting track. I personally love racing that one. We'll see if I maybe hop on the Truck Series for it. And then Indianapolis, another one I'm super excited for. Have not got to do a broadcast there yet. followed by Watkins Glen. We'll see if the road course ringer Tyler Marble can make it 2 for 2 in road courses for the season. And then there it is. How are we going to decide the playoffs? Well, we're going to have one final race, and what better track than the bright lights of Daytona International Speedway, the World Center of Racing, to decide who's going to make it and who isn't. Followed by a no bull race at Darlington to start the playoffs. Kansas and the Bristol night race. That's going to be one a lot of these guys are looking for, a crown jewel. Guys going to be putting in a little bit of extra practice for it. Texas and Talladega going to wrap us off all the way in October. I believe that's October 2nd. I think those 2 Noble races, by the way, to note, I think that might be the last 2 Noble races. I'm almost positive it is. So we had Daytona, Atlanta, and Talladega. 3 of them so far, so that should wrap us up unless the Atlanta number 1 wasn't, and I'm just thinking that it was. So we got the 1 to go. Gonna be going back green this time, and it is gonna indeed be 11 to go, just as we suspected. Appreciate everybody watching here tonight. As Ryan Tapp says, it is Michigan International Speedway. Oh, well, I should have stuck with the first instinct, I guess. Michigan's going to be a very fun one. That will be another 3-4 wide. Nah, 4 wide on the straightaways. Whenever Officials Weeks comes around, that track is phenomenal. You put these guys that are this good in custom setups there, forget about it. The racing is going to be absolutely through the roof. We can't wait for it, but before we can get to there, we got business to settle here at Pocono. 11 laps to go. The green flag is back in the air. Ooh, Brandon Bike, not quite the best restart, but he did get a little side draft off of Matthew Cox. Will that be enough to hold him dead even into 1? Glenn Grigsby has heavy damage. The toe on that 64 car is broken. That was at the back of your screen. Matthew Cox is going to get clear, going to slide right up in front of the 13 car. Joshua Watson looking for a run. Unfortunately, he's just got nowhere to take it right now. Stuck behind the 13, thought about going to the middle, nothing there. Ooh, I see smoke in the background. Do we have one off? Oh, it looks like we might. Not sure who that was. Looks like whoever it was, they got it back going, and we stayed green. It might have been Brian Watson. Up front, racing is still heated and intense. Went to the blimp cam, I saw some more action towards the back. I had to pause for just a second there to see who it was. And as those top 3 line up and start to pull away, Joshua Watson, he is going to have 10 laps to pick them both off. Can he do it? Ryan Shiro in a fierce battle right now with Brian Conklin, trying to get that position. Jeff Shutt back there as well. Tracy Powers looking to the inside of the 27. Maybe looking for a 2 for 1 here. If he can get to the inside of the 20, he can't. 3 wide just behind these guys. Go to the Mad Sim Racing drivers. Here we go. Joshua Watson to the outside. Let's go watch what is going to be the battle for the lead. The 01, can he make the outside work? He's got the fresher tires. Matthew Cox driving it hard on the inside, sliding up a little bit. And sure enough, Joshua Watson makes it stick. And I got to think now he does have the preferred lane down into turn 3. If you're Matthew Cox, do you think about the slide job? No, he doesn't. He's going to play the patience game here. As Tyler Marble, on the other hand, not so much. He sends it in. He knows he's got to get in front of this 13 if he wants a shot at tracking down the 01. He does. He completes that move. And now Joshua Watson can try a little strategy play here. He's going to break the draft, but by helping the 1, he wants to break off Tyler Marble from any chance of getting to his back bumper. And he succeeds in it. Marble is going to have to settle for 3rd and try to work over the 1 car here in the next corner or 2. Sean Kulmbach also moving through the field. He looks to the outside, but he gets real tight, tags the outside wall. 9 laps to go now, and we are 3 wide. Cody Colley in the middle looking for position over Brian Curry and Adrian Watts. Scott Glasser going to follow. Jacob Musso now back to 6th. Guys starting to get lower and lower on that tunnel turn. Boy, these guys are getting really adventurous. Everybody looking for every ounce of grip, every part of the track that they can go to help themselves out. Tyler Marble got around the 1 of Matthew Cox, who is now falling back to 5th. And we are going to have a battle for the lead here. Joshua Watson, really, really good in short runs and long runs, but I always felt like when he has a chance to let it loose, he can do so. And we will see how well he built that setup for this week, because he's going to have to lay it all out right here. Tyler Marble is going to use the tires while he's got them. Look to the outside. He really overdrove that corner, and Joshua Watson looked like he was making it pay, but no. Watson actually gets in a little too hot on exit, and he makes contact with the wall. That allows Tyler Marble to close right back up. A little bit of a mistake right there. Let's take a look at least one of these guys right now as they go head-to-head at it. Well, Tyler Marble, watch him work the wheel. Boy, he looks about as tense as you could possibly be right now, and you can't blame him. He knows he's got to catch the 01 if he wants to win, and he knows he's going to only have 7 laps to do so this time. Compare that to Joshua Watson. Looks a lot more calm, cool, and collected. But hey, if you're a guy that's already done it 8 times, looking to do it your 9th, why wouldn't you be? Breaks the draft down the front stretch again, but Tyler Marble really, really closed the gap. Almost to the back bumper, not enough. He keeps getting caught in the dirty air. The wake of Joshua Watson, Brandon Bike still hanging around in 3rd. Sean Kaltenbach in 4th. Matthew Cox still rounding out your top 5. Got a side-by-side battle back here that we'll check in on just real quick. Looks like Alan Pajari, Danny Gutierrez to the inside of Jeff Shutt. Tracy Powers also under fire from Jeffrey Souza. Can these guys get it sorted out by the end of the tunnel turn? And 3 wide, gotta be a little careful doing it. They make it work. That's Jared Bundy looking to the inside, trying to make up some track position late in the going here, but up front, battle for the lead is still as fierce as it's been all night. Tyler Marble is not letting him slip away from his grasp, but Joshua Watson is continuing to hold him off. Yellow flag is in the air with 6 laps to go, and we are going to have another restart. Who's it for? Looking back here, no trouble yet. Oh, there it is. Oh, man, Jacob Musso. Heartbreak for the 95 machine. He had been having a phenomenal night here late in the going. Looking for one of his season best finishes, and it is going to go up in flames here. See what happens here. Does he just get loose, or is there some contact? Looks like, oh, maybe he thought he was clear. Matthew Cox maybe wasn't quite. And that hooks him when he tries to get clear. Oh, man, he got slammed. I think that was Jared Bundy. Wow, that was a huge hit for the 6 car. Front end is completely gone, and he's going to have to just go ahead and tow that thing right away. Ryan Taft will be letting me know about that one in just a moment. And the 6 here, could he just not see? Yeah, he tucks it behind Souza. And, man, that was a hard hit. First thing we need to look at here, though, is did Musso... We know he got hooked, but was he going to the right? Or did Matthew Cox maybe come a little bit to the left? Here we go. So he's struggling a little bit here. He knows he's falling back. He's trying to get clear. Matthew Cox, yeah, I think that's Jacob just coming up a little bit too much. Looks like Matthew held a pretty straight wheel there. Then once the 95 gets on the 1 car's left front, it just finishes him up. And man, Jared Bundy, I don't even know if he had a chance to scrub off any speed right there. That was a huge hit. Stick right on board with him. See what he saw here from the cockpit view. Now, he doesn't see it right here. This is part of it. He doesn't see it. He sees a little smoke. He's fine. Doesn't see it. Now he sees it. Oh. And he did slow up, but I'll tell you what that was. I think he might have been a little bit blinded by the smoke. Couldn't tell where he was for a little while, and then maybe a little bit of that effect of kind of like a deer in the headlights. Just kind of freeze. You can't quite make that final move left or right. And that is going to probably end Jared's day as well, potentially Musso's. And we might be going to overtime here, potentially here in Pocono. This is going to, I think, if we get the 1 to go this time, which I think we will, that'll be 3 laps to go. Of course, if we can make it 2 more times to grab the white flag, then the race will be official. However, if we can't, and we get another caution, we'll rack them up and head on into overtime. We do have 3 green-white checkers if we were to need them. But hoping we can get this thing finished up, cleaned up, and finished under green. Austin Fitzgerald rounding out the top 10. Been kind of that midfield kind of night. It's been a good run, don't get me wrong. I think it's just we're so used to seeing him up front. Got on a hot streak for about 5 races or so where it seemed like he could not fall outside of the top 3 unless an external force got in the way. Had another good night, though, here in 10th. Ryan Shiro in 11th. There's Brian Conklin in 12th. Been putting together a couple good runs lately. Danny Gutierrez in 13th. Alan Pajari 14th. Jeff Shutt 15th. Tracy Powers in 16th. Jeffrey Souza in 17th. Johnny McCulchuk 18th. There's Ryan Haynes in 19th. Cody Richardson in 20th. Thomas O'Hara at 21st, Todd Shiro 22nd. And by the way, quick update on Cody Richardson and Jeff Marble, who we saw involved in that last track and didn't really hear much since. Jeff Marble currently sits in 29th position. I believe he is still on the lead lap, down 16 from where he started though. But again, of course, because of that wreck, Cody Richardson has started to rebound, finds himself back up to 20th position, but down 16 from where he started. Ryan Tapp says yes. By the time I told him to go low, he saw Johnny shoot low, and also by the time Jared saw it, it was too late. Yeah, sure enough, sometimes as a driver, you don't realize what it looks like on broadcast, like, what were you doing? And from the cockpit, when we saw it from the view there, it's hard. Sometimes you're not sure which way to go. The split-second decision, you can't quite make it in time. It's still a tough break for Jared Bundy nonetheless. So Watson and Marble making up row one. Of course, Watson choosing the outside, Marble on the inside. It's going to be a little interesting here how this pans out. If Tyler can get a good even start, we'll see if he can maybe pull a slide job through turns 1 and 2. Sean Kaltenbach and Brandon Bike, I don't know if they have the speed to outpace these two on this final restart, but if either of them slip up, then they might. So we'll see what happens here. It is going to be a fun one. It is going to be a crazy one. But we are going to be deciding a winner here sometime probably within the next, before 11 o'clock. So if you're just tuning in, stick with us for just a little bit longer. We can see who is going to win the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series Pocono 200 here at Pocono Raceway. Pace car is going to pull off. It's going to be a sprint to the finish. Going to be a fun one. Here we go. 3 laps to go at Pocono. We are back under green here. Joshua Watson with a good jump, but Tyler Marble does a really good job. He's going to hang even with them. Who's going to win the race? To the back bumpers. Out back, they're going to try to start fanning out. They still stay 2 by 2 though for now. Down into turn 1, Tyler Marble has got to make it happen right here. Got to make something work. Joshua Watson sticking on the right quarter panel. He's going to stay in the position. On the outside, Watson gets a little bit loose. Still side by side into the tunnel turn. We've seen both lanes working down here. Watson, he likes the outside, but Marble has also been good on the inside. The momentum's going to stick with the outside. Can Watson keep it out of the wall? He does. They're still side by side. Meanwhile, out back, these guys all trying to sort it out. We've got 3, some 4 wide going on. It is a Hornets that's back here. It's the 20. Ryan Shiro makes some contact with Tracy Powers up front, though. Tyler Marble gets clear, and he's going to look to raise the sails here. 2 laps to go at Pocono. Watson got a big draft, and he took full advantage back to the inside. Trying the slide job on Marble. Marble's not going to let him do it. Does he wash him up the track here? Marble's car working really well, but the one does get clear. He had to back out of the throttle. Now Brian Watson's thinking about a move. Tyler's not going to be able to block it. This is exactly what Joshua Watson wants to see as the 2 cars behind him side by side. Curry's looking for a 2-for-1 here, though he's not going to get it. Tries to outpace Marble into the tunnel turn. He does, and now he's on the back bumper of Joshua Watson. We are going to be coming to the white flag, and it's not over yet. Now Brian Curry jumps to the inside of Watson. The racing here at Pocono in the last couple laps has been phenomenal. I cannot tell you who's going to win it. Almost a little bit of contact. Watson's trying to hang strong. Curry, does he get clear? He doesn't, but we're going to have one more chance to decide this thing. Final lap here at Pocono, and they are still side by side. Into turn 1 for the final time. Brian Curry on the inside. Joshua Watson on the outside. Adrian Watts thought about 3 wide up top. Nothing there. Ooh, there's going to be a little bit of contact there. Brian Curry holds it on his door. Joshua Watson tried to pinch him down. Here comes Brandon Bike. Does he think about 3 wide? Little bit more contact. We got one spinning on the back. Halfway back, we got a car spun. Couldn't tell who it was. It doesn't matter. The white flag's in the air. The battle is all up front. Brandon Bike, he is going to have a chance at this thing, but right now he's trying to push his teammate. Can he get him out in front? Final turn here at Pocono. All chips on the table now. They're working their way through 3. This is the battle for the win off the turn. What can Brian Curry do? He gets clear. What a move on the last lap, and Brian Curry is going to win it at Pocono. What a finish and what a win from the 2018. Second win of the season. And he came out of absolutely nowhere on that final lap. What a win for Brian Curry. And I'll tell you what, outside of maybe a super speedway such as Atlanta, this has been my new favorite race of the season. One of the best races in terms of best racing that we've seen all season. Hands down. If you didn't like what you saw there, then you don't like racing. You probably shouldn't be here. Holy moly. Joshua Watson brings it home second, comes up just a little bit short. Tyler Marble finishes third, but Brian Curry is the big man here tonight at Pocono. Has the newer paint scheme, and hey, as always, runs a little Ghost logo on the right and left rears. We always appreciate that. And it's going to get a little extra TV time here. He's going to burn it down by the checkered flag here at Pocono. While he does so, we're going to go get your top 3 prep for interviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Back live at Pocono Raceway, standing by with third place finisher Tyler Marble. Tyler, this is all set up the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what, you come home third, but I don't know how you can be disappointed in that. The racing that we saw right there at the end was phenomenal. Hands down, in my opinion, the best that I've seen all season. But what'd you think about it there towards the end, and what more do you think you needed to have a shot getting the win?
Needed to stay green. Having gone into that green flag cycle, gone through it there with like 30 to go. I think we would have been smooth sailing for the win. I'll take P3, but that's not what I want. I feel like got wrapped there with those cautions, but it is what it is. Still got a lot of racing left this season. Plenty of chances to get some wins. And Curry won it straight up there, so congrats to him. And yeah, God, just needed to stay green.
Certainly a lot of cautions there towards the end. Good run over tall tonight. Now, next week, we had the pretty much the complete opposite of what we saw here in the high speeds and the technical, well, maybe not the technical side, mostly the high speeds here at Pocono. We head to Richmond next weekend. How you feeling about that one? Not next weekend, but next Monday.
Yeah. I like Richmond. Felt like I had a top 10 car in the spring, and just it's hard to pass there as well, and just it's a tire game. You got to really save your stuff there. So see what you can do. Hoping to finish a damn race at Richmond for once in this car, and get a top 10. Try to keep the momentum going here. Playoffs are coming, so points are very, very crucial.
Certainly are. Hey, thanks for talking to us tonight. Before we let you go, though, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yes, I like to thank you for broadcasting us. You do a great job. Ghost Racing Network is awesome. Definitely support these guys in the long haul. I like to thank LA Wheel Repair Specialist for coming on board. Butt Kicker, Sim Racer Hub, Everything iFlag, Fast Eddies, Donnie Adamzak, designed studio, you're going to be seeing a lot of the playoff grid graphics coming up here. He does a phenomenal job on those, and yeah, looking forward to just keep the momentum going here. Change it up at the short track next week. Have fun.
All right, we'll see you next week. Congrats on that 3rd place finish.
Yeah, thank you.
And that is Tyler Marble. He is right about the sense of caution at the end. We knew he was good on the long run early on. While the racing might have been good at the absolute end on that last restart, the caution certainly hindered his chances. Let's bring up 2nd place finisher and see what he has to say about all of this, Joshua Watson. Hey, Josh, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do, bud.
All right, well, another great run, but the battle between you and Brian Kerr on that last restart is what has everybody talking. That was absolutely phenomenal, but you come up just a little bit short.
Yeah, run kind of got halted there in 1. We had a lift and not peg the wall there. He pushed up into us a little bit. And couldn't get the run down the straightaway to be able to clear him into the tunnel turn, but it is what it is. It was good to bounce back after a rough couple weeks. I mean, we had decent finish last week at New Hampshire, but get a good finish tonight and a good points night is what we needed. So good to come out P2 and go on to next week.
All right, well, knowing that next week is Richmond, how you feeling about it? One of your favorite tracks or not so much?
I like Richmond. We had a good car there earlier this spring and got hurt with a pit road miscue speeding on entry and really relegated us to a bad finish. Felt like we had a good car and possible shot at winning it. So looking forward to it and looking forward to trying to get another win or 2 before the regular season's over with and stacking up those playoff points.
Sounds good. Before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you would like to thank or shout out?
Ryko, obviously, for all their work on the setups. They've been putting out some awesome setups week in and week out. Glasgow Volunteer Fire Department, DSD Button Boxes, Fanatec Wheels, my brother, everybody on JBRE Racing, and all my family and friends. Jeff, Tyler for putting this on, the sponsors of the league, and you for the broadcast.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us, and we will see you next week at Richmond.
Thank you.
And that is going to lead us over to your winner here. We'll bring him in just a second. You know, Brian Curry is going to be pretty excited, so let's hear just how excited he is. Hey, Brian, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
10-4, I got you, Austin.
All right, 2nd win of the season. You now tie your teammate Sean Kaltenbach. Team Watson Racing doing a heck of a job so far this season, but let's talk about this race specifically. The battle towards the end, you come out of absolutely nowhere in that final restart, specifically the last lap and a half or so. Where did that come from?
We had short run speed all night. We just couldn't quite put myself in the right place at the right time. We after we lost the lead there at the beginning, it just car didn't behave as well in traffic, and just had some really aggressive guys on some of those restarts to really kind of put us back. But we finally got the track position back there, and that run rate before that last one, I really screwed up down into tunnel turn. I couldn't get it to shift, and it finally did, and when it did, it shifted down into 3rd. So I thought we were done there, but we got another shot at it.
Well, you took full advantage of the opportunity. I want to ask you the same thing that I asked the 2 other guys tonight that got on the podium. Well, I know you're going to have some momentum going into next week, but it is Richmond. Some guys love it, some guys hate it. How you feeling about the short track?
Decent. There definitely need a little bit of work. So I'm gonna try to get some laps in, try to run some opens, get prepared for it. But we always run pretty well at Richmond.
All right. Congrats on the win tonight. Before we let you go, is there anyone you would like to thank or shout out?
Shout out to Team Watson. These guys put in so much work to give us great sets week in and week out, and we take what they got, put our little spins on it, and we had a lot of speed here. Shane Davis on the qualifying setup, that thing was so fast. I don't know how. I think we got the pole by a couple tenths. Thanks for him giving us a great qualifying setup. My beautiful wife Jennifer, as always, I thank her. She gives me the opportunity to come down here and do this while putting my kids to sleep. My little girls, Gabrielle and Savannah. Shout out to my mother-in-law Winnie. Her mortgage companies on the car here, Encore Mortgage Solutions. Let's see, my dad and my sister they share a birthday. Happy birthday to them. My mom and dad always watch these things. Let's see, am I missing anything? I don't think so. Thank you for the broadcast.
Well, thank you for giving us a little Ghost Racing Network sponsorship there on the right and left rear quarter panels. Hey, congrats on the win again tonight, and thank you for talking to us. We will see you next week at Richmond as well.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
All right, so Brian Curry secures his second win of the season here tonight at Pocono in a thriller. Joshua Watson second. Tyler Marble third. Brandon Biken fourth. Scott Glasso fifth. Sean Kaltenbach sixth. Austin Fitzgerald in seventh. Adrian Watson eighth. Cody Colley ninth. Brian Conklin 10th. Danny Gutierrez 11th. Matthew Cox in 12th. Tracy Powers finishes 13th. Jeffrey Souza in 14th. Jeff Shutt 15th. Ryan Haynes in 16th. Cody Richardson 17th. Ryan Sherrill rounding out your top 18. And I guess I should have said rounding out your top 20 here. Johnny McCulchuk and Brian Watson 19th and 20th. Thomas O'Hara 21st. Bill Benedict 22nd. 23rd. Kyle Oakley 24th. Todd Shiro. Jacob Musso 25th. Jeff Marble 26th. Cody Matthews 27th. Christopher Hall 28th. Alan Pajari 29th. Glenn Grigsby in 30th. Richard Elliott 31st. Jared Bundy 32nd. Brandon Ishkaikanen, and again, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I promise we'll get it right here in the next week. Scott Naslund in 34th, Brett Spott in 35th, and rounding out the field tonight is going to be Andrew Kotska in 36th position. Well, it was a heck of a race. Again, my favorite one so far this season. Man, that race at the end was absolutely phenomenal. Pocono did not disappoint. Next week, heading to Richmond, going to be another fun one. Going to potentially be some tempers. We'll have to find out. The only way to find out is make sure you join us next Monday here on Ghost Racing Network for it. Next place we head before then, tomorrow night, Ron Morris Racing hosts Tuesday Night Thunder. Top 5 payout on the line. Of course, money going to the championship pot as well. Make sure you don't miss out.